Okay, we're on day 4 of Plastic Free July, and today I'm bringing to you a really easy recipe that tastes amazing. It's going to be really fun for you to try out, and it's going to help cut back on some plastics as well as a lot of other environmental impacts. So let's dive in. Hey, welcome back. My name is Cara Michelle, and I'm here to help you live your truth. Now, on Plastic Free July, as I've mentioned on day 1 in this video, I also wanted to share some recipes. So there's definitely a lot of hacks and tools you can use with cutting back your plastic, and one of the areas where I feel like a lot of people get caught up is related to food choices, especially for those meat eaters out there. Now, I've been vegan for 3 years and really sugar-free, vegan, gluten-free, pretty much everything. Like really honed in on my diet and the foods that made me feel good. This was due to ethical reasons, this was due to environmental reasons, this was due to health reasons, and ultimately just once I made this decision, I could feel physically so much better every day because of the foods I was consuming compared to the foods I used to consume. So with Plastic Free July, one of the questions I got 3 years ago when I had just started going vegan and I was doing my first Plastic Free July, I got asked, like, how would I do this as a meat eater? Because they, if they're going to the store, it's a lot easier to use our little reusable bags that I shared in day 2. Was it day 2 or was it day 1? I don't know, but I shared it earlier. It's a lot easier to go plastic free if you're literally just buying fruits and vegetables, because you can choose the ones that aren't pre-packaged, right? Now, for meat eaters, one of the suggestions I mentioned was getting the, going directly to the person who's packaging it and maybe asking for it in like the paper packaging instead of the styrofoam and plastic wrap. And maybe you just try to go a month without meat, which would be pretty cool, and I bet you would actually notice a lot of benefits in terms of inflammation and your overall energy levels. But I will not be discussing that in this video. I will be discussing it in future videos. But today what I really wanted to talk about was such a quick and easy meal to make. And it's with something that you may or may not have already heard of. Most likely you haven't. And that is jackfruit. So I've got this can here. So you can get jackfruit either in brine or in syrup. Do not get the one in syrup because it's sugar, right? It's in sugary sweetness. You could use that for some things, but not for the recipe I'm sharing today. So what we're gonna do with this jackfruit is make like a jackfruit pulled pork. So for anyone who isn't vegan or vegetarian and is maybe like, oh, but I really enjoy the taste of meat or the texture of meat, that this is like, I'm not even kidding you, it's weirdly familiar, like it's weirdly like meat. Like sometimes when I'm eating it, I kind of get like anxious that I'm like, did I just eat meat? Because it's so similar. So it kind of freaks me out in a bad way, but I mean, it's in a good way if you're a meat eater and you like that. Now, when I lived in Sri Lanka, it was amazing because we could get fresh jackfruit and have jackfruit curry, you could eat it in so many different ways. Let me know in the comments below if you have tried jackfruit before. I'd love to know how many of you here have already had it at some point in your life. And if you have, also let me know where you tried it in the world, because typically a lot of people try it when they are in Asia and they're traveling, but maybe you've had it back in the Western world or wherever you're watching from. So I'd love to know. Basically, what's really cool about it is that it shreds. So you're able to shred it up. You could make it into like jackfruit tacos I've done before. I've also done that with like lettuce wrap tacos, so that then it really is, you're not even eating any wraps or bread products. You could just be eating like lettuce wraps with, you've got like your corn and beans and rice and your salsa and your avocado. Oh my gosh, this is making me so hungry. And then you've got your jackfruit. So you just cook it up on the stove. I'm gonna drop in some videos to show how easy it is and what it looks like, because it's like a strange foreign fruit for a lot of people. So I'll drop that in right here. Okay, check it out. So this is the jackfruit, and it's all shredded up. And then I've just put some seasonings on it. You could use barbecue sauce if you have it. I just don't because it comes in plastic, but also because barbecue sauces are always filled with so much sugar, and I stopped eating sugar a few years ago. But look at this. I have fed this to a lot of meat eaters over the years. I've just been like, hey, like, would you try this out? And they're always shocked by how good it is. Whatever seasoning you put on it, it's just got the chewy texture that they honestly feel like they're eating meat. So if you're someone who is a meat eater, this is such a healthy alternative. And for those vegans or vegetarians, if you're ever looking for something that has kind of that chewiness without switching to like something soy, this is just jackfruit. Okay, so now that you've seen what it kind of looks like, what I typically do, and this is where you could either add in barbecue sauces or sauces you already have at home, if you like those. Again, because I am primarily sugar-free, I try not to use those kinds of sauces, because since cutting out sugar, I literally get the worst sugar hangover now, where it's like I've just drank a Mickey of vodka the next day, because I wake up and I'm like so foggy, so out of it. I just don't feel good. So even with a small bit of sugar now, so I have to be really careful, and I monitor how much processed sugar I'm having. So for me, I just used a bunch of different spices. I used paprika, I used some different herbs, like I put some garlic in there and some coconut oil to help fry it up on the pan. So you can really experiment and do so much with this. And as I said, there's so many different ways to make this into a meal, whether you're doing the lettuce wraps and tacos or normal wraps and tacos. You could just do like a big salad and put this on your salad on top. You could do like with a bun or bread, and have your like pulled pork sandwich. And really, the sky's the limit. You could mix it into curries and do curry with rice. So just personally, what I love about this is that I don't necessarily do it all that often, but it is really nice and so easy to mix it up and have something fun or something different, because I do eat just a lot of fruits and vegetables, which I love, but sometimes we need like that variation and that mix in there. And what I would love to just share really quickly is that even if you're doing, it started a few years ago where people were doing like a meatless Monday or something, and they were aiming for 1 day a week to cut out their meat consumption. So even if you just do a meatless Monday 1 day a week, it doesn't have to be Monday, but you do 1 day a week, you're saving enough water for 1,700 thirsty people. This is because animal agriculture is actually the biggest use of our resources in terms of land space, and how much land and how much deforestation has been created to cut down the trees and make space for raising cattle and raising animals for the slaughter. So we're cutting down trees and using up all of this land, and we're using up so much water, like ridiculous. I don't even want to say the quote. What is it? Just the amount of water that goes into feeding. You think of how much water one single cow or one single pig would need, and we're raising billions, if not trillions, of animals just for the meat industry. So there's a lot of water resources being used there, and it's just not good for the environment in terms of the carbon imprint and the CO2 emissions that are coming from these animals. Not to mention the fact that then these are packaged in plastic, shipped around the world. America just announced that a lot of their meat products, even though the cattle and the animals are being like raised in America and slaughtered in America, they're now shipping it to China to get it cut and butchered, or like not butchered, it's already been butchered, I think, but they're shipping it to China to be processed or something and packaged and shipping it back to America to sell it. So not only do you not know what's actually going on in this process and what's possibly being added in these factories, but you're also creating a huge carbon footprint in the amount of resources that are used for raising that animal, killing that animal, shipping it off, processing, packaging that animal, shipping it back to this place, and then now putting it on your plate. So I highly recommend checking out the documentary Cowspiracy to learn more about the impact of animal agriculture and why it's not being talked about so much, and why a lot of companies and higher up organizations are not saying and citing it as a huge cause of climate change. And that's because these charities and organizations are funded by the meat industry, the dairy industry, by these bigger corporations. So they can't say that it's a negative thing and that it's impacting the environment, because they're getting their funding from the exact corporations that do this kind of stuff. So highly recommend checking that out and give this a try. You can usually get jackfruit at pretty much any grocery store. There are, if you go into like just like the canned section and the international foods, typically you'll find it there. And yeah, make sure you come back and share it on this video. Let me know if you make it, if you try it out. And with that said, just remember that every choice you're making in July is not only for the planet, but for your health as well. And all of these things really are intertwined, which is what's so cool about making these shifts, because as you cut out plastic packaging and the microplastics that are shedding and being bled into different foods, then that is being ingested, and then you're ingesting microplastics. So realizing that the more you cut out those plastics from your life, not only are you going to benefit and is your health going to benefit, but you're not then disposing of that waste and adding to the plastic pollution problem in the world. So you're helping the planet, you're helping the animals, you're helping the environment, and you're helping yourself too. So it's all linked up in a beautiful way to just be a metaphor for the fact that we are all connected. So with that said, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Make sure you enter the Healthy Planet giveaway. Every single video, all you have to do is comment, "I'm creating a healthy planet," and that is one new entry, one entry per video, and share a story and tag Healthy Planet as well as Real Cara Michelle for a bonus 5 entries per video. And to share and spread this message of Plastic Free July, of what you're working towards and what changes you're making in your own life for yourself and for the planet. So thank you so much for being here. Again, make sure you let me know if you try this recipe out, and I'll see you on the next video.